I arrive on the island, cold, alone, and naked. I die 6 times in one day. On the 3rd day I tame my first little friend, Angel. She sadly perishes defending me. I die 12 times that day. No joke. The next morning I tame a new little listro and a pelagornis. I now live under a small, metal-rich mountain in the Southern Isles. I set up a spiked wall perimeter and tame a decent iguanodon. Eventually I find a good pteranodon. At last, I can finally fly. I can go further than before and find the perfect place to settle down. But one night I get unlucky. I never say the Rhyniognatha coming. It shoots my poor pteranodon out of the sky. I fall to my doom. Bits of resin from the malicious bug covering my body. My next task eludes me. I cannot find a good level pteranodon. I need to find another if I am going to progress. I build myself a raft and pack up food, water, basic building supplies. I expect to stay at my destination for a while, high level. Animals are hard to come by. I arrive at Herbivore Island without major incidents. I'm all by myself, save for my trusty bow and rifle. I shoot down all the pteranodons I see. Alas, after days of effort, the highest level one find is a mere 95. My sights are set on one at the max level, 150. Defeated, and exhausted after days of ruthlessly shooting down peaceful creatures, I pack up my raft. As I tie down the sails and drift away, I cast a mournful glance back at the island. It held such great promise. I decide I will scour the shores of the Ark instead. Wham! My raft jerks, and I'm thrown forward. I barely catch myself before I plunge into the waves. My raft is damaged. But what caused this? Then I remember, I saw it lurking days before around Herbivore Island. Lead sichthies. They're known for viscously targeting poor sailors. Perhaps karma is real after all. Crash. My raft shatters and I'm catapulted off of it. When my eyes open, I'm helplessly falling towards unfamiliar ground.
Redwoods ground.
I hit the pine-littered dirt, wounded but alive. I get my bearings. Enemies stalk me from every corner. I catch my breath and sprint madly along the shore. Across the river I see the volcano. How is this possible? I wonder as I flee. How am I here? I was just sailing away from the southeast corner of the Ark. It doesn't matter right now. I dodge gigantic ants and vault over boulders to avoid a pack of terror birds. Behind me are stamina-draining bugs. In front of me are wild raptors. I dive beneath a boulder to catch my breath. The river is too deadly to cross. I'd surely be eaten by piranhas. To my horror I see a Spinosaurus on the shore across from me. I make my decision. I sprint past the raptors while they're distracted. I make it to the edge of the redwoods. I collapse among a flock of pteranodons. Scarcely a minute passes before I hear the thump, thump, thump of a mighty Carnotaurus. The pteranodons flee as one of their own gets ripped apart by the beast. I run too. My meager primitive flak won't stand a chance against his teeth. I splash into the salmon-infested river that separates me from safety. Ahead I can see where the river gurgles past tall stone pillars towards the hidden lake. That's it, I think. I'll surely be safe if I go that direction. Before I can think twice, I dive into the water. I careen through the water, feeling piranhas chase after my wake. I lose 2 toes to them. It doesn't matter for I'm soon on the other side. I'm safe, I think. Until I see that the Spinosaurus has already made its way over here. I sneak past it and charge down the shore, hurtling past beavers and gallimimus. I see an alpha raptor and an alpha carno out of the corner of my eye, perusing the forest. They're of no concern to me, they're too far away. The river at last feeds into the ocean. I once again collapse, this time on the warm sand on the northeast shores. I'm finally safe. I can finally remove my helmet and breathe. Carbonemys lumber around me, but I am safe. Beaten and bruised, I slowly trek along the shoreline until one reach where I know I can safely rest for the night, a hill facing towards the ocean. From it I can see the Arctic zone and the forest that hides the aptly named hidden lake. I shakily gather firewood and start a fire to keep myself warm. I'm too weak to hunt, so I feed on berries. The triceratops nearby put me at ease. Should anything dangerous come my way, they will take care of it. In the morning I make base. I am stranded here indefinitely. It's impossible to get back home to my sweet Listro. I shed a tear thinking of him waiting for me. I prepare a forge and spend countless hours hammering plain rocks for metal until I can make a smithy. It all reminds me of home. I cry again, but not for long. I have work to do. One day while hiking back to camp, one sees something in the lake that sits beneath the cliff. This is not the hidden lake. It's far too dangerous therefore. Me now, it's a powerful Sarcosuchus. She's olive green with ruby accents. I shudder and take to avoiding her, but I think I'll tame her. She's beautiful but deadly. Perhaps she could get me home. Weary days are spent gathering wood and stone. I go farther and farther in search of boulders that may drop metal. My supply dwindles quickly. How will I repair my damaged tools and armor? I don't know. I would never survive the trek up Far's Peak. It takes a long time, but I'm eventually able to repair my crossbow. I'll need more for my rifle. My new long-term goal is to tame the olive ruby Sarcosuchus or find a good pteranodon. It takes me days to find a good level pteranodon. I swiftly immobilize and tame it. The ability to fly is bittersweet. I can go home now, but here also has started to feel like home. I decide I must return to see where my heart truly lies. But one day while I'm gathering from a supply drop, we're ambushed by wolves. My pteranodon fights them off long enough for me to escape, urging me to leave him behind. I wipe a tear from my eyes as I flee along the Arctic border. I arrive back at camp, winded and once again stranded. The sun has set. I'm alone in the night once again. The next morning I see something incredible. It's a parasaur with a pink body and green accents. I tame her and dub her Watermelon. She's a low level, only 15 or so, but she will do. I slowly get more attached to her as the days drag on. She's a good companion. I constantly worry she'll meet a horrible end. Eventually the day comes where I have gathered enough metal to repair my rifle. I prepare narcotic darts and make my way down towards the cliffside lake. I tame the Sarcosuchus without any major incidents. She is powerful indeed, a high level with a lot of health and jaws that can inflict up to 400 points of damage once I train her. I name her Ruthless for the way she defends me, my honor, and her fellow tame Watermelon. On cold nights she sleeps with me by the forge. Who knew this beast had such a pleasant personality? By the time she's trained she is capable of taking out the alphas I saw on my flight from the redwoods. It's time. I give Watermelon her favorite berries, marberries, and sat my goodbyes. I promise her I'll be back within a fortnight. I hop onto Ruthless's back as she plunges into the chilly northeastern waters. It takes an entire day for us to reach the Southern Isles. Home. I'm going home. I fall to my knees as I embrace my little Listro, my Iguanodon, my Pelagornis. Tears roll down my cheeks. My tames never lost hope in me, they waited patiently all along. I spent the next few days there gathering metal from the mountain too. Complete blueprints I took from supply drops. I am left with a powerful new crossbow and rifle. By the time I'm loading up Ruthless's saddlebags I've upped my mind. We will all be moving to the hidden lake. With Ruthless I can clear out any threat that may lurk there. I kiss my tames goodbye, promising them I'll return soon to retrieve them. They cheer me and Ruthless on as we swim away. It's tough work setting up in the lake, but soon me, Ruthless, and Watermelon pack up our things and permanently move in. I built a workshop and a storage unit. I fill troughs to our HE brim with their favorite foods. One day I decide Watermelon deserves some parasaur friends. I go off in search of some and return with 2 more. The 3 of them become fast friends and I bring them along with me to gather wood and stone. They are amazing carrier parasaurs. Once my new home is complete I focus on my next objective. If I want to bring back my original tames I'll have to airlift them here, making as few stops as possible. An Argentavis is perfect for this. But for weeks on end me and Ruthless scour the sides of Far's Peak and the Frozen Tooth. There is no suitable Argentavis in sight. On one of our many mountain expeditions I decide to go to the Frozen Tooth, the mountain that sits next to the great volcano. I see something that further on haunts my dreams as I sleep.
It's a Giga.
I promptly never return. A few weeks later I decide I'll keep a lookout for a pair of saber-tooth cats as I hunt for a good Argentavis. Lo and behold I find a pair of the cats. They're both black and grey. I tame them and return home. I name the male Knight, for he protected his princess when I began to shoot them. I train up Knight and set up a breeding pen. Princess is having a kitten. As me and all the tames anxiously wait I continue to explore, train Knight, and hunt for an Argy. But soon after the cub is born disaster strikes. Knight only had a day to get to know his daughter before he and I were struck down by a viscous pack of Carnotaurus led by an evil Utyrannus. I wailed as he fought for life but ultimately could not get away. We had been boxed in by the pack. I return, but he does not. With a murderous shine in my eyes, I equip my crossbow and manage to separate the Utyrannus. I cut him down and tame him. In shackles he is led to my base by a member of the pack whose father he had just killed. I feed the horrible beast nothing but spoiled meat and let it stand in its cage. It feels very wrong, but not as wrong as taking away poor Knight from his family. That night it rains. I have my revenge but I am not satiated. I go through the process of cutting tombstones for not only Knight, but every tame who has fallen. The count is 4 for now. How will it rise?